Warning, viewer discretion advised. This video contains content that may be disturbing or triggering to some viewers. It includes detailed descriptions of violent crimes, graphic imagery, and discussions of sensitive topics such as murder, assault, and other criminal activities. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. If you are sensitive to such content, please consider watching another video. Stay safe and take care of your mental health. Welcome to 22, the show where we delve into true crime stories from around the world. Today, we'll take you on a journey through some of the most intriguing and complex criminal cases that have captured public attention. Thank you for joining us today. In today's episode, we uncover the shocking assassination of Marielle Franco, a Brazilian politician and activist whose death shook the world. Marielle was a powerful voice for the marginalized, a champion for human rights, and a fierce critic of police brutality. Her assassination on March 14, 2018, sent shockwaves through Brazil and beyond, sparking protests and calls for justice. Who was Marielle Franco, and why was she targeted? Join us as we break down the events leading up to her tragic death, the investigation that followed, and the lasting impact she left on her community and the world. Unmasking the truth behind a silenced voice for justice. Marielle Franco was a remarkable figure in Brazilian politics, known for her dedication to human rights and social justice. Born on July 27, 1979, in the Maré favela of Rio de Janeiro, Franco grew up in one of the most impoverished and violent areas of the city. Despite the many challenges she faced, she pursued education with determination, earning a degree in social sciences from the Pontifical Catholic University of Rio de Janeiro and later a master's degree in public administration from the Fluminense Federal University. Her political career began in earnest when she was elected to the Rio de Janeiro City Council in 2016, representing the Socialism and Liberty Party, PSOL. Franco was one of the few Afro-Brazilian women in a predominantly white and male political environment. She quickly became known for her outspoken stance on issues such as police brutality, racial inequality, and LGBTQ+ rights. Her background in activism resonated with many, making her a powerful and influential voice in Brazilian politics. The political environment in Brazil at the time of Marielle Franco's career was fraught with tension and controversy. The country was grappling with deep-seated issues of corruption, inequality, and violence. In particular, Rio de Janeiro was experiencing a surge in violent crime, much of it attributed to the city's militarized police force and its often brutal methods. Franco was a vocal critic of these tactics, frequently condemning the extrajudicial killings and human rights abuses committed by the police. Her outspokenness on these issues earned her both admiration and animosity. She was seen as a beacon of hope by marginalized communities but became a target for those who felt threatened by her calls for accountability and reform. As a city councilor, Franco chaired the Women's Defense Commission and was a leading advocate for gender equality and the rights of marginalized groups. She was particularly focused on addressing the systemic violence faced by women, Afro-Brazilians, and LGBTQ+ individuals. Her efforts to highlight and combat these issues were a significant part of her legacy. By understanding who Marielle Franco was and the political climate in which she operated, we can begin to grasp the significance of her work and the profound impact of her assassination. Her life and career were a testament to the power of resilience and advocacy in the face of systemic oppression and violence. On the night of March 14, 2018, Marielle Franco attended a series of events in Rio de Janeiro. She participated in a roundtable discussion titled Young Black Women Moving Structures at the Casa das Pretas, a space dedicated to empowering black women. The event concluded around 9:30 p.m., and Franco, accompanied by her driver, Anderson Pedro Gomes, and her press officer, Fernanda Chaves, left the venue. As they drove through the Estácio neighborhood, a car pulled up alongside their vehicle. At approximately 9:50 p.m., gunmen opened fire, shooting Franco multiple times in the head and neck. Gomes was also fatally shot, while Chaves survived with minor injuries. The assassins used a silencer, and the attack was over in moments, leaving little immediate evidence behind. The murder was clearly a targeted assassination, given the precision of the attack and the specific targeting of Franco, who was seated in the backseat. The news of Marielle Franco's assassination spread rapidly, igniting outrage and sorrow across Brazil and internationally. Protests erupted in major cities, with thousands of people taking to the streets to demand justice. Franco's death highlighted the dangers faced by human rights activists and the pervasive issues of violence and impunity in Brazil. Politicians, activists, and public figures worldwide condemned the assassination. The United Nations and Amnesty International called for a thorough and impartial investigation. The outpouring of grief and anger was a testament to Franco's impact and the void her death left in the fight for social justice. Vigils and memorials were held, celebrating Franco's life and work while also demanding accountability for her murder. The widespread reaction underscored the significance of her contributions to the community and the pressing need for change in Brazil's approach to law enforcement and human rights. The investigation into Marielle Franco's assassination began immediately but faced numerous challenges. Rio de Janeiro's police force, criticized by Franco for corruption and brutality, was tasked with solving the crime, leading to public skepticism about the investigation's integrity. Despite these concerns, the authorities promised a swift and thorough inquiry. Initial findings indicated that the bullets used in the assassination were from a batch purchased by the federal police, raising suspicions about possible connections to law enforcement. However, the police claimed the bullets had been stolen years prior, complicating the investigation. After a year of investigations, in March 2019, two former police officers, Rony Lessa and Elcio Vieira de Queiroz, were arrested in connection with the murders. Lessa was accused of being the shooter, while de Queiroz was identified as the driver of the car used in the attack. Investigators suggested that Franco's assassination was a politically motivated crime, tied to her activism and outspoken criticism of police violence and corruption. However, questions remained about who ordered the killing and why. Various conspiracy theories and controversies surrounded the case. Some speculated that the assassination was ordered by high-ranking officials threatened by Franco's activism. Others believed it was intended to send a broader message to silence critics of the police and government policies. Public skepticism persisted, with many questioning the transparency and efficacy of the investigation. The involvement of police officers as suspects fueled concerns about corruption and impunity within the law enforcement system. The assassination of Marielle Franco remains a stark reminder of the dangers faced by those who challenge powerful interests and fight for marginalized communities. Despite the arrests, the quest for full accountability and justice continues, driven by activists, supporters, and Franco's legacy. Marielle Franco's assassination did not silence her voice. Instead, it amplified her message and solidified her legacy as a symbol of resistance and advocacy for human rights. Her work continues to inspire activists, politicians, and everyday citizens both in Brazil and around the world. Franco's advocacy for the marginalized Afro-Brazilians, LGBTQ+ individuals, women, and residents of favelas remains a guiding light for many. Organizations and movements dedicated to these causes have grown stronger, fueled by the principles she championed. Her name has become synonymous with the fight against oppression, and her story is often cited in discussions about racial, gender, and social justice. In the wake of her death, numerous initiatives and movements have been established to carry on her work. The Marielle Franco Institute, founded by her family, is dedicated to advancing her mission by supporting social justice initiatives, empowering marginalized communities, and fostering young leaders. Annual marches and events commemorate her life and work, serving as both a tribute to her legacy and a call to action for continued efforts in the fight for equality and justice. Her speeches and writings are frequently quoted, keeping her spirit alive in the ongoing struggle for human rights. The quest for justice for Marielle Franco remains a central focus for her supporters and human rights advocates. While the arrests of Rony Lessa and Elcio Vieira de Queiroz marked significant steps in the investigation, many questions remain unanswered. Who ordered the assassination, and what were the deeper motives behind it? Activists and legal experts continue to pressure authorities for a thorough and transparent investigation. International organizations, including the United Nations and Amnesty International, have called for accountability and urged the Brazilian government to ensure justice is served. The case has also highlighted the broader issues of violence, corruption, and impunity within Brazil's law enforcement and political systems. Franco's assassination is not just a single tragic event but part of a larger pattern of threats and violence faced by activists and human rights defenders in Brazil. Marielle Franco's legacy lives on through the countless individuals and groups who draw inspiration from her courage and dedication. She remains a powerful example of how one person's commitment to justice can ignite a broader movement for change. Her story is a reminder of the importance of standing up for what is right, even in the face of tremendous adversity. As her supporters continue to advocate for justice, they also strive to build the more equitable and just society that Franco envisioned. Her life and work serve as a call to action for all who believe in the power of activism and the possibility of a better world. In conclusion, Marielle Franco's impact and legacy are profound and enduring. Her assassination was a tragic loss, but it also galvanized a movement that continues to fight for the values she stood for. Her name has become a rallying cry for justice, equality, and human rights, ensuring that her voice will never be forgotten. Today, we've delved into the life and tragic assassination of Marielle Franco, a passionate activist and politician whose work and legacy continue to resonate globally. We explored her early life and career, her courageous stance against police brutality and advocacy for marginalized communities, and the events leading to her untimely death. We also examined the investigation into her murder, the controversies and theories surrounding it, and the ongoing efforts to bring those responsible to justice. Marielle Franco's story is one of remarkable strength and resilience in the face of systemic oppression. Her assassination underscores the dangers faced by those who dare to speak out against injustice, but it also highlights the profound impact one individual can have on their community and beyond. Franco's legacy reminds us of the importance of fighting for human rights and standing up against inequality, no matter the risks involved. Thank you for tuning into this episode of 22. We hope Marielle Franco's story has inspired you as much as it has inspired us. Join us next time as we explore another compelling true crime story. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on social media to stay updated on our latest episodes and content. Until next time, stay safe and keep seeking the truth.